Hi guys, Dr. Al here. Today we're going to talk about glycemic index, and the glycemic index is very tied to the problem that I focus on, which is chronic inflammation. You guys remember that chronic inflammation is a culprit for multiple diseases that affects humans. What is the glycemic index? The glycemic index is how fast does a food elevate blood sugar. How fast does a food elevate blood sugar will mean how fast will that food increase insulin level? How fast will that food trigger inflammation in our body? So you see this document that I have here next to me. It's the, I forgot where my mouse is. I apologize for that. Let's go over this table. You see that the foods that we want to focus today, it's probably the moderate to the high glycemic index foods. And as you see, potatoes, corn, white rice, couscous, cereals, wheat, pumpernickel, whole wheat are things that have moderate glycemic index. And then white bread, pastries, sugary snacks, rice cakes, instant oatmeal have high glycemic index. This when I see this, I go crazy. I see people going to the gym in the morning and having a piece of bread with butter, which totally makes no sense to me. Some other guys go and get an energy bar or whatever protein bar, which is laden with sugar. So check this out. Those things, oh, and the instant oatmeal. It's super stupid to do that. Why would you go to work out in the morning when you should be fasting and eat something that has a high glycemic index? So that means that if the blood sugar levels are high, do you think the body will turn on the fat burning mechanism? It will not turn it on. That's why you see these guys with the same personal trainer every day, and they're working out there, they're jumping around, and you see they still have the same bellies. It perpetuates the client, and I totally understand that part. But let's focus on fast results, because if we give people what they really need and not what we think it's good for them, we can get a lot more progress. Let's go down to this table, and this table that I have prepared here has what it's called the food that has a moderate glycemic index. And when I go to the foods with a moderate glycemic index, I see corn, and you guys know that corn is super inflammatory. Super inflammatory. Okay, corn has the capacity to cause microhemorrhages in the stomach when it touches it. Corn can behave like gluten, and corn has amylopectin. We're gonna go over there and again. Now, white rice. You see a lot of people telling my patients you're gonna eat white rice, and they put some toast and oh my god, no. In my clients, I tell them white rice is processed food, and we're not gonna go that route. Why? White rice has advanced glycation end products. Advanced glycation end products will stimulate something called NF-kappa B. And this is basically a molecule that goes to the DNA of the cell and tells the DNA of the cell to start transcribing in order to produce cytokines, which are pro-inflammatory substances. So this healthy white rice will damage or will cause inflammation starting from the DNA transcription. That sounds like a good idea to losing weight. Then another one that I see a lot is couscous. Guys, couscous, what couscous is made of has gluten, right? Now, let's go to cereals. You go to a supermarket, you walk to the cereal lane, which is there's a cereal lane there, and all of that is wheat, high gluten, high amylopectin, and corn. Super pro-inflammatory foods, and they say corn has a low glycemic index, but a moderate glycemic index. But does that make it good? Does that make it better? No, it's pro-inflammatory, super pro-inflammatory. So let's station ourselves here in the table, and let's talk a bit about what is amylopectin. Amylopectin, it's a molecule that has a very high glycemic index. So even though they're telling you here that corn, that white rice, that potatoes have a moderate glycemic index, they have amylopectin. Amylopectin has one of the highest glycemic index known to man. Every molecule of amylopectin has anything from 2,000 to 2 million glucose molecules. Holy shit, that's a lot. Not saying that most of the times when we eat corn, it's already processed, and white rice, it is a processed food. What does that tell you? Sometimes when we think it's healthy, it's not that healthy. And keep that in mind. Just because someone says that white rice is healthy doesn't mean that it is. Do you know that there's a huge percentage of the world population that has food sensitivities? And food sensitivities also trigger inflammation. We think that in the United States, just in the United States, we have around 33 million people with food intolerance and food sensitivities. Guys, that's a lot. Now, let's check this out. We have this person who has been instructed by their personal trainer into eating wheat bread because it's healthy, whole grain bread. But again, we're giving them something with high glycemic index. Now, picture this. I go to the gym. Again, I'm back at that tail. I love that tail. I go to the gym and I'm saying, hey man, I don't want to go into hypoglycemia because I haven't eaten anything since yesterday. Dude, number one, you don't need to have sugar or blood or glucose in your blood. You have it in your liver and you have it stored in your muscles. So when you start moving, that's the first thing it's gonna get burned. Is that glucose that it's inside those items. We call it glycogen. And when that's burned, then fat burning will begin. So if there's high index of glucose in your bloodstream, what's going to happen? It's going to get a lot of work to be able to burn that glucose, then burn the glucose that you store all night as glycogen to then turn on the fat burning mechanism. Doesn't it just make sense to just fast and then go to the gym and work on those glycogen stores? I'm not saying this is not a medical advice. This is nothing like that. When I work these things, I work with my clients, and we're very specific in how we approach this problem. But I just wanted to drop this information here. Remember, sometimes what we think it's healthy is not healthy. I know that some of the times we give the body stuff that our body doesn't need. We're gonna talk about that later down the line, but because the natural supplements, it's another topic and it's a long one. Just wanted to drop this. Understand, just because something is not sweet doesn't mean it doesn't have a high glycemic index. And many things that we consider healthy have things in them that are not healthy for all of us, right? So keep that in mind. I wanted to mention another one, and it's going back to rice, right? When you see rice over there, you see that there's probably point oh no 1% to 2% of the world population has a sensitivity to rice. If we take that number into the United States, out of 300 million, we have 6 million Americans, give or take, that have a sensitivity to rice. Just if we go by world statistics. Now, if I have someone in front of me that is trying to lose weight, I have to understand that probably this person that has that difficulty, that has that inflammation, because when people have this problem, they don't only have that problem. When they come to me, they have blood pressure, they have diabetes, they have arthritis pain, they have low back pain, they have pain in their knees. You see them with eczema, with psoriasis, with different skin rashes. Their brain is foggy, they have difficulty remembering things. They also have difficulty solving situations. They're all stressed out. They are insomniac. They can't sleep. They're depressed. And you see that all these things are related to the same, right? Oh, and one of them that I see all the time is the swelling. Guys, swelling is a sensitivity or an allergy. And it's also a way for the body to show us that it's inflamed. Sometimes when we take one medication, yeah, but they take the anti-inflammatory medication, the ibuprofen or the naproxen, and the legs get swollen. Oh, it's a side effect. Well, let me break it to you. It was the drug that made the water spill from the cup, right? The cup was already full of inflammation, and it was just the drop that it needed to actually overflow. I explain to my patients that if our bodies are inflamed, the incidence of side effects, the incidence of complication, the incidence of not responding to treatment are sky high. Right, guys? That's it for today. We're going to talk later about some other cool stuff that I love.